Um, Hi, I'm Aishwarya and I'm here with Sunidhi, my project partner, and we are here at Dhwani Legal Trust. And we are joined by Advocate Ashwini Obulesh. So, a little bit about Ashwini ma'am. She's a remarkable legal mind and a passionate advocate for social justice. She's not just a brilliant lawyer practicing at Karnataka High Court, she's a force for positive change in our community. Ma'am's journey is truly inspiring. She graduated from a national law school where she not only excelled academically but also demonstrated exceptional leadership qualities. This is evident from her impressive accolades, including the prestigious Vikram Singh Gold Medal for Young Leader of the Year. This pursuit of excellence continued during her LLM, culminating in Sitaram Jindal Foundation Gold Medal. Her impact extends far beyond the courtroom. Driven by a deep commitment to social justice, she dedicates herself to empowering marginalized communities. And in that process, she founded Dhwani Legal Trust, an organization that provides vital legal aid to those who need it most, helping them navigate complex legal challenges and fight for their rights. So, Ma'am plays a crucial role as a coordinator of the Samvidhan Fellowship at Nyaya, where she is mentoring the next generation of legal professionals and working towards a more just and equitable society. So, her dedication and her hard work is truly inspiring. She is the shining example of how legal expertise can be used to create a more just and equitable world. So, today, Ma'am will share her insights and experiences with us, shedding light on the legal and social realities surrounding interfaith, intercaste marriages, and conversions in India, and specifically Karnataka. Her insights will provide valuable perspectives on these critical issues and the urgent need for legal and social reforms to ensure the protection of individual rights and freedoms.
As the founder of Dhwani Legal Trust and an advocate, could you share any significant cases or instances you have encountered related to interfaith or intercaste marriages or issues stemming from conversions?
So, as a part of Dhwani, we conduct caste sensitization programs. And in the caste sensitization programs, there have been like varied experiences that we've heard. So, one set of experiences is from students of, say, progressive quote unquote colleges like NLS, like Christ, like Mount Carmel, where they say, no, we understand intersectionality, we understand intercaste, we understand interfaith, and we'll never oppose. So that's one response we've got. But we've approached some colleges also where the response has been no, intercaste is a strict no. Like this is from the current generation. But it's not that they are saying I will not marry, they're saying my parents will not let me marry.
Okay.
Right. So that's the kind of objection to intercaste marriages that we have seen as a part of our work itself. Not only that, as soon as we say intercaste, there's also this whole element of, oh, sure, intercaste is fine as long as it's not SC/ST. Right. So that's the other objection. That's the other specific objection. So in our caste sensitization, we show them there are slides where we show them newspaper clippings of matrimonial ads, and in one of the ads, we actually show where people have said caste no bar except SC/ST. Right. So that's the specific objection we see because people are happy to marry like Gaudas and Lingayats are okay to marry, right? Brahmins from one subcaste is okay to marry another subcaste, even though full fight would have happened between those subcastes also.
Yes.
And saints, Marthas should not marry, Madhvas, all of that. But finally, they will get married somehow, and that's okay. But then the problem really comes in when the caste is scheduled caste or scheduled tribe.
Okay.
So that is what we've observed as a part of our work. So we've asked questions to these students: are you okay to marry outside your caste? And everyone says sure, yes, and all hands are raised. And this is despite parental objection or opposition. So we say, okay, what if your parents are saying no? Then they say, no, we're adults. We have we have a right to choose our partner. All that comes in. So next question, when we ask, okay, how many of you are prepared to marry someone who's SC or ST? Then they're like, okay, half those hands go down. right? And other half, I think, still is up because they say, because I'll also put in one, they'll weave in one detail which says, what if they are well educated, they are socially, like class wise, they're upper class and all that, then yeah, sure. If all of the criteria matches, I don't mind the caste, right? So that's the objection that we've seen. That's on the caste sensitization sessions. Now, very recently, as of last month, we went to this organization in the border of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka to hold domestic violence and atrocities related sessions for the women there. So they're all women. I will not mention the name of the organization, but they're all women who are leaders in their villages, where they are the first point of contact for any victims of violence. Right. So we also brought in issues of domestic violence. Of course, we spoke to them about domestic violence. We also spoke to them about Atrocities Act. And we brought in the caste element. And that's also where we asked them, show us instances where caste has played an important role in the lives of all the women you meet. And it is still, it's shocking to see, like today people say, where is caste violence? But then all these women write about, have told us like several instances. In fact, they write, tell them, write stories down. Like, what are the stories you've heard? One popular story is, they will not marry people from another caste. Now, as you know, the caste lists are different per state, right? So if it's an OBC in Karnataka, needn't be an OBC in Andhra Pradesh, maybe an ST caste. So the villages that we went to are primarily, I think, comprised of non-Brahmin castes. Actually, I don't think there's a single Brahmin household in that, in those set of villages at least. So there is a lot of intermingling there also. But then SC is something that is not yet, I mean, they still live outside the village, scheduled castes. So they've told us about instances where they still live outside the village, and every time they enter into somebody's house, they're told to wait outside at the jagli, at the porch, right? That's one instance I've actually written about. Thirdly, there are instances where someone asks for water. If it's a dominant caste person, they give them a glass, and if it's a marginalized caste person, they are told to hold their hands to get the water poured. Okay, that's still happening like today. And this session happened like last week, right? So that's still happening. Apart from that, they also tell us about how every village has one big tree, and around the tree is a seating arrangement. It's called Sumari Katte, where all the lazy men of the village like assemble and like chill over cards and BDs and all that. So there have been instances where dominant caste persons have not allowed people from other castes to sit on that juggling. I sit on that katte. So these are instances that we've seen. Now, intercaste marriages is of course a no-no if it's from a Dalit, if it's a Dalit boy or a Dalit girl. But that is also changing, because in the NGO that we visited, these people go and try to speak to the other families, try to mediate, try to say, look, well settled, right? Earning well, working in city. So accept the groom or accept the bride. So that has happened, but still there's a lot of objection to intercaste marriages.
Would you clue us in on a few specific cases of interfaith marriages?
Yeah, so we've had cases where interreligious marriage couples, like okay, couples who are married from different religions came to us. Like one instance was, in fact, they approached us 2 days ago, where a woman who is a Hindu is married to a Muslim man, and she wanted divorce from him. Now, there are some complications there also, because here we don't know if she's Hindu still or if she's converted. Like, we don't know those aspects because the women belong to a lower strata of the society. Like, I will say socioeconomical economic conditions low. So we don't know details yet. Like, she was supposed to come. She apparently has 4 children. She has no money, absolutely. So when we said come to office, she was like, I don't have money, I'll walk all the way from BTM layout. Okay, so yeah. And we said, no, no, wait, we'll book auto for you. So that's where it ended. She didn't approach us after that. We don't know. But yeah, these are the nuances that come in. Like, how have they gotten married, right? So we don't know if the conversion has happened. If yes, how would the conversion has happened? What are the how the marriage has taken place? Is it a valid marriage under, say, Sharia law, under or the Hindu Marriage Act? So we don't know. So those are the questions we also ask them. We deal with. Okay, so in another case that came to us last year, there was a Muslim girl who was married a Hindu man. Now, again, there was a lot of complication there because that Muslim girl is, I would say, told us that her husband makes her make calls to men. Okay, so she was in that business of, I don't know what it's called actually, but she was in the business of, I don't know what it's called. What is it called? Escort service or some sort. No, she would just call them and like have a chat with them. Oh, okay. Okay, with sexual connotations. Oh, okay. Right, and her husband was and her husband was making her do that. Yeah. And maybe she met her husband also in one such instance, and she married him. Now the question is, she married him in a way that he tied a tali to her. Now she's Muslim. Okay. Now he tied tali to her, and she claims to have converted to Hinduism. Now I don't know. First question we asked her is, "What do you mean converted? Like, what did you do to convert?" She's like, "I started doing puja." Okay, I started believing in idol worship. I pray every day, pray like Hindu prayers every day, like that. So we lots of nuances there, right? Like, is that a valid marriage even? There were no witnesses because if you can imagine both these people in that field, quote unquote, there's absolutely no witness. She said he tied a tali, and we got married in a temple, and since then I have converted to Hinduism. So these are kind of cases we deal with. Finally, of course, she wanted divorce. We tried to understand whether we should get divorce under Hindu Marriage Act or Special Marriage Act, whatever it is. Marriage is valid. Yeah. Yeah, but the marriage was not even valid because, yeah, as you know, different religions, you can't get married under Hindu Marriage Act. And there were no customs, there was only tying of tali, there was no witness, nothing. So those are the questions we dealt with. But what she needed help with is, and it stopped there from our end, is she wanted intervention in the police station. And this was an outstation thing. So we sent our lawyers to that place and all that. And she registered a complaint of domestic violence. And by then, the husband, like started calling me saying, I want her back, please send her back, etc. So I think they might have gotten together. Not sure.
Coming to judiciary, what are the prejudices you have seen with respect to interfaith marriages?
And again, this could be a completely subjective perspective. Okay, we were dealing with a Special Marriage Act, mutual consent divorce. Okay, so the girl is a Muslim and the boy is a Hindu. Okay, so it was a Special Marriage Act registration, and they were married for about 2-3 years, and they wanted divorce. How they got married is, I was very interested to know. Both of them are Keralites, so both of them are Malayalis. So somehow, like, oh, cultures sort of match, and somehow love marriage, of course, got married. Now they want to, they don't want this to work, and they came to court. Mediation got done. They couldn't. It was a failed mediation, so it went back to court. It was the last day of the judgment, basically, where the court calls upon the parties. Parties have to go. The judge will ask them, "Do you want this divorce? Do you want this divorce? Is someone forcing you, etc.?" And then they sign and it ends. At the time of signing, now this is where like subjective elements come in. At the time of signing, court officer asked me, why did she marry him, ma? Right? So there's this prejudice of the court officer. Like judge also doesn't care. I don't care as a lawyer, but the parties definitely don't care. They want the divorce. Like court officer asked me, why did she marry him? Right? Also, where this is coming from is, sorry to say this, but she's extremely fair. extremely fair.
Okay.
He was extremely dark. Okay, and the court officer said in Canada, you EMI yaake yappan madve adlu. Right? Why did she even marry this guy? Right? So look at the prejudices, like apart from religion, they also have to deal with like skin color, right?
Very casual racism.
Casual racism of the court officer. Like,
Yeah.
and at the time I was signing, like they're ending it. That time that guy is asking me why they got married, why did that girl marry him? I'm like, sir, please, not your problem. I actually said it and we walked out because I wanted to get out. Like, so much trauma already happening because of the divorce and love marriage and they're breaking it and all that. Thank God they didn't hear that. Like, they signed and went. I was supposed to sign as a lawyer and I was signing and he said that. And after that, the court officer went to the judge and they whispered something and they giggled. So, so why I'm saying this, it could be a completely like casual, frivolous thing, but that's one way to see it. The other way to see it is so much prejudice is acting on that couple itself because of like definitely because of the religion and skin color and everything. So that
Many identities, like the
Yeah.
interplay is just.
is mind blowing.
What role does police bias play in complicating matters for interfaith or intercaste couples seeking legal protection?
We saw an interaction where the police was shouting at a Muslim man saying, "Why are you making so many children? Like, don't you know it's already so difficult for you to live your life? Like, why are you making more children?" Like, there are these things also that come up if you say your religion is X, Y. Like casual remarks.
Yeah.
And not even pertaining to that case, maybe. We don't even know what case that was.
It seems like an indirect way of saying
Yeah.
while conflict more.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Any specifically interesting case of an intercaste marriage you have dealt with?
Yeah, it is intercaste and it's a very interesting case. So we are dealing with a case where the man is SC, okay, and the woman is Christian, okay, and they got married and they have 3 children, okay. And what he did is he deserted them, married a Hindu woman who's of a dominant caste. Okay, now when this happened, like before this happened, they built a house. Okay, and ground floor is for, and he's written a will saying ground floor is for um the first Christian woman, and the first floor is for the Hindu woman. Now, what has happened is he's died. This man has died. Now, first floor is occupied by the Hindu woman. Ground floor, it was never occupied by the Christian woman. She was living elsewhere. And now what has happened is they've rented it out and all the rent is going to the Hindu woman.
Yeah.
The Christian woman is completely deserted. She's about 80 now, I think, 80 years old, 70 to 80. Okay, she has 3 children. She's living in some outhouse with no source of income. She apparently gave funds to build that house. So now one case is going on, and now they approached us saying, "What can we do?" Now we are lots of angles there. One is she's Christian, he's SC. So there's also the religion plus caste angle, right? And the children become SC by virtue of him being SC. So what we are trying to do is, apart from the case that's already going, we wrote a letter to the Minority Commission on her behalf because she's Christian. The State Minority Commission, National Minority Commission. She's also senior citizen. Right, she's 70. So we wrote a letter to this. We filed a case. We are filing the case on the reopening day to the Senior Citizens Forum, the court tribunal, and we wrote to the. Okay, this is all we did for her. For her, we asked the son who's approached us now to file an atrocities case because the Hindu woman belongs to the Gauda caste, who's dominant caste, and only the son can file because he's SC. The woman can't file because she's Christian.
Yeah.
The son is filing atrocities against the lady, number one. Number two, we've also written letters to the Civil Rights Directorate, Civil Rights Enforcement Directorate, okay, on caste issues by the man. We've sent the son, basically. And we've written a letter to the SC/ST Commission of Karnataka. So this is what we've done. Now, another interesting thing, the senior citizens petition, very interesting because the Senior Citizens Act says, Maintenance of Senior Citizens Act says, you can file a case against your stepdaughter or stepson also. So now what we have done is it's a complete shooting in the dark, but we filed a case on on behalf of the Christian woman against her stepdaughter. Basically, the Hindu woman's daughter.
Okay.
Saying she has to maintain her, she has to give her residence.
Please let us know about the different conceptions of marriages.
I was researching a few things about this. So in Tamil Nadu, there's a amendment. Of course, I think you know amendment to the Hindu Marriage Act, where self-respect marriages are brought in, right, as a valid form of marriage. Section 10, Section 7. I don't forget the section.
I think Section 7. Yes.
Okay, so self-respect marriages have been brought in as a valid form of marriage. But in Karnataka, there is a very good equivalent, which is the Mantra Mangalya marriage. Okay, you should totally read it up. That's how we got married. It was formulated by Kuvempu.
Okay.
Okay, Kuvempu is, Kuvempu?
Yeah,
Kuvempu is a Jnanapita awardee, Prashasti awardee, and he's one of the greatest poets of Karnataka. And he formulated this very simple marriage called Mantra Mangalya, which means you just say vows to each other, okay, in whatever language, whatever form, how many ever vows, very simple. No priest. He was very clear about it, no priest. There can be one person who both of you like or admire or something who can officiate it, right? And absolutely no ceremonies, right? So that is a very good equivalent to self-respect marriages. However, there is no amendment in the Karnataka Act of Hindu Marriage Act. There's no amendment yet. So what Dhwani was trying to do is we wanted to set up a conference, invite all these people. That's why I saved that Deccan Herald article. Invite all these people, do a conference, and finally push the government to amend the act.
Wow.
We want to do it.
Yes. So thank you so much, Professor, for sitting down to talk with us. And thank you so much for your time. I think our conversation has been very fruitful in broadening our understanding of how the Special Marriages Act, the interfaith and intercaste marriages work on ground, and the complexities that the lawyers or anyone who deals with it face when it comes to actually um, dealing with such situations and cases. So this, I think, has been really enlightening. So thank you very much.